Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and Supergirl has had its premiere and a lot of the main media reactions are coming out. Still don't think they're the full reactions, but they give you a good sense of what to expect, and they're not great. They really are leaning more into the negative than the positive. But you can see here, David Cornswick goes viral for saving Millie Alcock at the premiere. And you're probably thinking, why, what happened? Was she pissed out of her fucking face and fell on her face? No. A photographer decided to reach out and touch her back. Now, you're going to see the clip. There's no point putting the sound on it because you can't hear anything. There seems to be kind of people saying fair play to David Cornswick for doing it, and then there's a lot of people just going like, what an overreaction. But it's weird. Look, let's just take a look. So here's Alcock. So she's talking with Cornswick and Holt, and there it is. There's the touch, and then Cornswick comes in like the hero. Hey man. So you'll see that again, like. So you have, what's her name, Rachel Brosnahan, Cornswick, Nicholas Holt. This guy comes in, touches her. Now you will see where there's people kind of saying she doesn't react. She kind of does react. You can see once he puts her hand there, she does look kind of to the side and moves a little. So it is kind of like, did she think somebody was coming this way or something? I don't know. But either way, the big question that you can even see from here is, why the F would you put your hand on an actress at the movie premiere? And that is, you are the photographer. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're trying to get their attention because you want the good photo and stuff. You know, there's boundaries. And whether it's a girl like Millie Alcock, whether it's a guy, whoever it is, you don't really have the right to put your hand out and touch that person. Now, did Cornswick kind of overreact? Maybe not. I think it's more in line. He's probably going over and saying, like, hang on a second, we're kind of talking here, like, you'll get your photo, don't worry. So you see here it's saying, in footage shared on X, Cornswick, who plays Clark Kent / Superman opposite Alcock's carousel, is seen moving to put himself between Alcock and the press line after a photographer made contact with her back. It's not clear from the clip why the photographer reached out, but it looks as if he was asking the actors to better position themselves for a photo. That's when Cornswick visibly stepped in to shield his co-star. The video, posted by fan account Home of DCU, has already racked up nearly 1 million views, and the caption that we already read. The timing of the video is hard to ignore. It comes as Supergirl faces a dwindling box office opening. It comes with Millie Alcock facing severe online backlash from fans. Well, some fans were quick to praise the gesture, as one fan wrote, "protective cousin moment," and another summed up the reaction as bros Superman in the movies and Superman in real life too, it seems. Others didn't seem fazed. Look at Alcock's response. She didn't even know anything happened. So Rage Boy Cornswick's reaction was absurd. We have a photographer directing two people, Alcock and Holt, for photos that he's hired to get to help promote this or their shitty movie. Nothing more, nothing less. And it kind of just goes on. David looks like a joke, or he's joking though, and stuff like that. To start with, photographers aren't hired to go to your premiere to take photos to promote your movie. They're there to get the best possible pictures so they can write articles and stuff. They're not promoting your movie at all. But overall, is it an overreaction? Don't know. Does the photographer have the right to do what he did? Absolutely not. So it is what it is. But the reactions. Now, you can see the headline up here that says Supergirl post-premiere reactions range from total blast and great to dull and underwhelming. They lean actually a lot more into the dull and underwhelming. The funny thing though is the fact that there's a couple of performances that kind of get criticized in this, but they are pretty much saying this movie sucks without trying to say it sucks. You'll see what I mean. So, let's dive into this, because this is the main reactions from the media. So, I love Millie Alcock. Oh, by the way, the one thing you'll start noticing is a lot of praise for Millie Alcock, which is natural. But a lot of comparisons again to Mad Max. Fury Road, mind you, but a lot of kind of comparisons to Mad Max. Which is funny, and people are kind of wondering, like, why all of a sudden, out of nowhere, is everyone comparing it to Mad Max Fury Road? Isn't it funny that has happened right after Warner Brothers decided we're not going to move forward with more Mad Max movies, and George Miller is going to try and sell it off to someone else. So, but it says, I love Millie Alcock as Supergirl. Punk rock awesome. Sadly, I only liked Supergirl the movie. Tons of highlights, but barely scratches the surface of Woman of Tomorrow. Guardians of the Galaxy Light meets Mad Max. Fun, sure. Memorable, kinda. Lobo, awesome. I wanted more though. So that's a weird one. And it's weird because he says, sadly, I only liked Supergirl the movie. It's exactly what you just watched, you dickhead. So it's like, so you liked it. I suppose he means, sadly, he didn't love it or something, but it's just a weird way he writes that. So, next one, super praise. Supergirl surprised me in ways that I am so excited to unpack for the foreseeable future. It's such a fascinating sister story to Woman of Tomorrow, echoing some things while carving its own spunky path with others. It's a weird choice of words again. Now here comes the most non-biased review you're ever going to see, seen as it comes from DC Film News, that writes, Millie Alcock soars. She simply is Supergirl. Messy, brash, but full of heart. The film's best moments are the quiet, tender beats between her and David Krumholtz's Zor-El. Without that emotional core, Kara Zor-El's journey wouldn't land the way it does. This is probably the most positive out of all of them, but again, it comes from a site called DC Film News. So it's not like they're going to come out and go, it sucks. So Supergirl is simply fine. It does the job of introducing the character, but feels a bit off. Whether that's poor choices in the soundtrack, or just a feeling of bloat on the story, Millie Alcock does admirably, but there's nothing here that really feels memorable. So then we get to this, which we have to click into. By the way, some of these that we have to click into get really bloody long. So Supergirl is a below average Guardians of the Galaxy movie. A committed Millie Alcock can't save a movie devoid of wit, charm and visual flair. The flashbacks are strong and everything with Superman is great, but between the Mad Max Fury Road rip-offs, dull visuals and thin plot, there's disappointingly little to enjoy. Supergirl certainly does not soar. So that's the first kind of major critical one. Where do you see this bleeding? Supergirl is a total blast. Leads with heart and smarts. A colossally awesome and audacious mashup of True Grit and Mad Max Fury Road. Firing on all cylinders, Millie Alcock is a heroine for a new era. Eve Ridley is a revolution. Gillespie drops a needle like no other. Not according to everyone else as we move on. Although her cameo in Superman set us up for a light-hearted romp, Supergirl is surprisingly bleak, tonally and visually. Millie Alcock is a dynamite lead, doing the heavy lifting in a DCU follow-up with underwhelming action, an underdeveloped villain, and an underutilized Lobo. By the way, practically every Lobo scene has been shown now in the trailers because he's only in it for like 15 minutes. Grace Randolph, so she hates it. As you can see, how unfortunate. Review Wednesday. So she obviously clearly doesn't like it. And though she's going to go on Wednesday and try and gaslight it to be like, oh, you know, it's terrible. It could have been, but all it is really standing. Yeah. So here's another. This is, I think, is one of the longest ones that pops up. So Millie Alcock commands the screen as Kara Zor-El. The strongest part of the film is the performance from its star. I loved how she was able to capture all the tragic nuance of Kara, while having still preserving her kind soul. I loved the use of practical sets and effects. It added a lot to the overall style of the film. The film has some scene stealers, but my favourite supporting character is David Cornswick's Zor-El. He delivers a small but powerful monologue. There is a lot that I loved and a lot that I didn't. I feel like the film needs to let the first act breathe, and I would have loved to spend more time on Krypton. Overall, I think this will be an enjoyable summer popcorn movie. So that's kind of swaying on the disappointing end. Supergirl is just okay. Craig Gillespie, who's made several things I've liked, doesn't really mesh with the material, and not enough of the action scenes fully come to life. On the other hand, there's some good character moments, flashbacks included, and Millie Alcock is great. So this one just says, Supergirl is mediocre. So that's it, that's all they wrote. Okay, wow, Supergirl is emotionally heroic. If Superman being raised by the Kents is what makes him relatable to humanity, then it's Kara's sense of loss and disconnection that makes her just as relatable, in a completely different way. I forgot you have to click on this one, so you can see how bloody big this one gets. Grittier than Superman, with larger action sequences and higher stakes, Supergirl soars through familiar storytelling territory rooted in classic Hollywood while still feeling fresh for modern audiences. Nothing comes easy for Kara, and every victory feels earned. Millie Alcock is an absolute force, delivering a chaotic and endlessly entertaining performance that shines so brightly even the film's cameo appearances can't steal her yellow sun. While it's great to see connections to David Cornswick's Clark Kent and further expand on the DC universe through Jason Momoa's Lobo, make no mistake, this is Kara Zor-El's stage, and it is set differently from the rest of James Gunn's DC universe. A distinct identity that is exactly what makes Supergirl stand out. Until she shows up at Man of Tomorrow, and then she'll have to blend right in for that tone. Let's talk Supergirl. Now, I love this one and the following one because they both are so contradictory to one another. So this guy says, Millie Alcock was incredible as Kara, channeling her struggles beautifully. Jason Momoa was born to play Lobo. Fun action and music with a great ending, but the middle dragged a bit. Creme was dull, not as good as Superman, but still a fun time. Now compare that, where he says drags in the middle, to this. Supergirl shoots for the stars and successfully sticks its landing. A fast-paced western space opera that doesn't waste. All gas, no brakes. Millie Alcock is a bright new star who I can't wait to see more in the DCU. But if you're a dog person, attend with caution. So this guy is saying it's all gas and no brakes, and this guy right above him says, yeah, the middle drags quite a bit. As for the, if you're a dog person, attend with caution, it's because Crypto is like the whole plot device for it, because he gets poisoned. Of course they're not going to kill Crypto. So Millie Alcock deserves a better... Oh wait, I have to click on this one. Wait till you see this. There is one that's like bloody massive. Not sure which one it is. Millie Alcock deserves a better vehicle than Supergirl. She's incredible and portrays Kara with stunning vulnerability. A tremendous lead performance bogged down by a messy movie around her. a clunky script, an awkward pacing, and lackluster supporting performances, especially from Momoa. I also didn't know a movie could look worse than Superman, but there are some shots here that are downright bad. Definitely not a train wreck, but nothing spectacular. This guy just literally ripped this movie a new asshole and said how absolutely god-awful it looks, how god-awful all the performances are, other than Millie Alcock, how the story is god-awful and it destroys everything around it, but then has to try and backtrack and go, it's definitely not a train wreck. You literally just said it's a train wreck. But he's the first, but not last, that says Momoa is a disaster in this. So here's the last one, which also says the same type of thing about him. So Supergirl. Millie Alcock is exceptional in a movie that's otherwise disappointing. A movie that gets in its own way more times than I could count. An engaging tone and some great emotional beats are held back by an inconsistent script. A cringe Jason Momoa performance. And one of the worst comic book movie villains you'll ever see. This character, and especially Alcock, needed much better treatment. It's not bad, but it's frustrating when you think about how good it could have been. That's another one that absolutely goes ahead and shits all over it, and then pulls back at the very end to keep getting invites and goes, you know, it's not terrible. Even though I literally just said it's absolutely terrible. So you can see the reactions are very more in line with it being negative than positive, which is not a good sign for this movie. But there you go, folks. There's the first reactions that have come out from the premiere. Again, they are leaning a lot more into the negative than the positive. And the whole issue with that photographer putting his hand on her back and Cornswick stepping in. So let me know what you think about that moment and what you think about these reactions. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, hit that hype button, check out memberships, all that good stuff. Cheers. Catch you in the next one.